I am going to start with you, Congresswoman Crockett, because it is your state that is home to the governor who has essentially dared the federal government to come down and enforce federal border policy. So it is portrayed, I just want you to confirm, as an absolute urgent crisis, no?
Oh, absolutely. It's an invasion, Joy. It's an invasion, honey. So, yeah, we know that this is what they're saying out loud, but this is because people such as Chip Roy have made it very clear that they have nothing to campaign on. And so, therefore, they have found that this is their chance. They're able to use Democratic governors and Democratic mayors to say, listen, everybody agrees, even the Democrats, right? And so here it is. We could have a solution, but we know the solutions is not what they want. All they want is rhetoric so that they can campaign.
And, you know, Stuart, now you have Donald Trump saying, hey, blame me. Like, he wants the blame. He wants the credit, I guess you could call it, on the Republican side for killing a deal. And Republicans have responded in Oklahoma by literally censuring Senator Langford for doing nothing other than working on this bill. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is not a serious party. And, you know, what gets lost in all of this is sort of the scope of the human tragedy that's involved both on the border and in Ukraine. I mean, it's not an exaggeration that people are dying every hour because of this. It's not some theoretical game. It's not like debating the law of the sea treaty that's going to go into effect 20 years from now. This is like real stuff. And this is actually why you have a government. And you elect people to make tough decisions. And, you know, we have this massive budget. We have the largest military combined to the next non-largest military budgets in the world. We can afford to do both. This is a false charge, a false choice. And it's just really extraordinary for a lot of us who worked in the Republican Party to see what is de facto aiding and abetting Vladimir Putin winning the largest land war in Europe since World War II.
And Congresswoman Crockett, so the Republicans are saying, they're saying that what they want is what they passed, H.R. 2, which would significantly restrict asylum. It would do remain in Mexico and some other things. It would defund the NGOs providing services to migrants, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Senate bill, which is different from that. Do you get the sense that, let's just say the Senate, for whatever reason, decided to do H.R. 2 and send that right back to the House? Would Republicans vote for that?
No, absolutely not, because their leader has told them that they can't do it. You know, I thought that we lived in a country in which we had a democracy and we had 3 co-equal branches of government. But right now, it is clear that we have a leader over the legislative Republicans, and that leader isn't even an elected official. This is what we're dealing with. So when people want to blame Democrats when they head to the polls in November, the Republicans are saying that's exactly what we want you to do. But the reality is that Democrats have been the ones that have always been the adults in the room, especially this session, that have said, listen, we understand what it means to govern. That means that we don't necessarily get everything that we want, but we want to make sure that we are making some sort of progress and we're bettering the lives of American people. So we are always willing and ready to work. They are not. This is why this is the most unproductive Congress that we have had in modern day history. And I do want to pick up on a point that I don't think that we're emphasizing enough. This is the pro-Putin caucus. Full stop. That's what they are. And the fact that we have people that are agreeing to and allowing a dictator like Putin to do the things that are absolutely in opposition to democracy tells you how far we have come in this country. And it also tells you of the threat that we have in this country as it relates to democracy, because they are failing to respect the very principles that this country allegedly was built upon.
You know, and Stuart, part of what they are now saying they are going to do, their proactive sort of action, is to try to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. They're going to do that. But it seems that the Republican parties are sort of trapped between the two things they want most, right? Whatever Donald Trump wants, which is for Putin to win, and the border to, I guess, I don't know, to be the spark of a civil war. It's not clear if there's a policy they want other than Putin winning and, I guess, a civil war.
Yeah, you know, we shouldn't forget that this was Donald Trump's main campaign issue when he ran for president the first time and was elected, and he failed. He failed on the border more than any president in history. You know, the wall that Mexico was going to build, all of this. That's the reason this is a Biden problem now, because Trump failed to address this problem. And, you know, what really is just so striking to a lot of us who work in the Republican Party. The essence of living in a totalitarian society is you can't say what you know is true and what you believe because it's unacceptable. And if you held a gun to the head and a lie detector test to most of these Republicans, they would vote for Ukraine overwhelmingly, and they would vote to do something about the border. But they're caught in this Orwellian world in which they can't tell the truth. They can't really be the people that they'd like to be. And instead, this is who they are. And it's a complete moral collapse of what it means to be an American.
And Congresswoman, I mean, I think it's hard to argue with that, Congresswoman. Have any of your colleagues on the other side explained why they didn't solve the border when they had what they claim was the greatest president in history and they had all three branches of government under their control?
Absolutely not. But, you know, when it comes to policy, you're not getting very much policy out of the Republicans nowadays. And unfortunately, we end up in this cycle where it's a matter of, you know what, we will trust the Republicans because we think they're better on the economy. We think they're better on border security. We think they're better on all these things. And then everything goes bad. And then they say, well, you know what, let's just go ahead and see what the Democrats can do because we can't do any worse. And then the Democrats come in and they clean it up. Right now, we have an economy that is thriving. I know that not everyone feels it at this exact moment, but by every metric, the economy is doing well. We are hitting record highs as it relates to the stock market. And so with that being said, trust Democrats. We will get it done for you.
Yeah, and Republicans will complain about it a lot, though. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, they're good at that. Stuart Stevens, thank you very much.